Okay, hello. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, so allergies here in Texas got me, and I'm having this like whole congestion thing. So excuse me if I accidentally cough, but that's why I got the mic so I can pull it away. All right, well, welcome to my talk. This is my first time doing a talk, so please bear with me. Okay. Um, so I love this community to begin with, right? It gives people the opportunity to kind of come together and try new things. So I wanted to give it a shot. The theme, I'm assuming, I believe, is DevOps is a journey, and I want to tell you about my journey in DevOps. So I went from platform engineering to platform product management. Has anybody else done that before? Okay, okay. So let me tell you about my story, and we'll see if maybe it changes your mind. Okay, so about me, I've been doing hardcore tech for about 6 years. I've learned the theories, I've done the schooling and all that good stuff. Kind of dabbled with technology, dabbled with my own servers and things like that when I was younger. But I joined the military, and that never really gave me a lot of time to really get into tech. Fortunately, in the last couple of years, I've been working for the Army Software Factory. Have you guys heard of this place? All right. Yeah, and we're doing a lot of software development, so it really gave me an opportunity to get in there and really hone in on the craft. Currently, I have 3 children. Two of them are here in the back, Rudy and Anthony, if you want to say hello. Brought him, hopefully, we can get him some internships or something like that. So if you have a friend or know anyone, please talk to them. All right, so my journey begins. Um, in my doctoral dissertation, I was doing some research and I discovered DevOps. I said, what is this DevOps? Kind of learned about it, some DevSecOps, product management. It really got me excited about the whole, there was like a business aspect to it, right? It wasn't just about the tech, but it was about the people, about the conversations and the interactions that we have. Then I came to DevOpsDays in 2023, which completely blew my mind, and I fell in love with the community. I said, this is awesome. I want to be part of this. So I fell in love with the community building, and I tend to be a people person. I love talking to individuals and love creating interactions. So I got more into DevOps. Made some contributions as a good scholar, of course. Got the dissertation and everything. So that I said it's mandatory that I publish some things. So on my Google Scholar, you can look up some contributions I made to academia, of course, because it's about giving back to the community. All these thoughts that are in my head, I want to share them, and I want to encourage anybody that's interested in writing. Any sort of publication is fun. It's really rewarding, and it can really help you build yourself as a contributor to the community. Highly, highly encourage it. Also, Defense Unicorn Podcast, they hit me up. They say, hey, we want you to talk to us. I said, okay, well, I'll talk to you. I don't know what I'm going to talk to you about. But there's a lot of opportunities out there for you to expand your skills and really just share what you have to say. All right, so from the platform engineering focus, build the things that build the things. It's a great quote from one of my coworkers. And it's really awesome to be able to just, get some YAML, some text, and then it creates things. And it just blew my mind how awesome that was. So I dabble with things like Kubernetes, AWS, GCP, Git, Terraform, Flex, all that good stuff. Backstage, any Backstage users here? All right, how's that going? Good? Good, all right. All right. It's quite something. And then also focus on delivering technical solutions to user problems, right? So users have a problem, they have a user journey map, and we just try to deliver technical solutions. But sometimes engineers can get a little carried away, and we tend to just build things that are cool, that we think are going to solve a problem, but they really don't. They're just cool to have. And now all of a sudden we're getting hit with the bill, and they're asking, why is this thing running in production? You say, well, I thought it was cool, but it doesn't help. All right. So then I decided to go into the product management focus, right, where I'm dealing with stakeholder management, backlog management, roadmaps, Kanban boards, glue work, lean, all that good stuff. Anybody a fan of any of those keywords? All right, yeah. So that's what I'm here for. So I can deal with that part of the conversation and deal with the organization and from a different business perspective, so that engineers can really get into the engineering flow, and I can kind of remove some of the blockers to allow the engineering team to really excel and thrive. Why though? All right. Aspirations for executive tech leadership. Over the years, I've just been kind of inspired into, like chief technology officer positions and things like that. At one point, I had to exit the military, so I had to start preparing myself for that and be able to get in front of the C-suite and really have a conversation with them from a business perspective. Societal expectations, you saw my title, a doctor, right? So being a, you know, terminal degree individual in a engineering position, I don't want to call it frowned upon, but I get asked a lot why. Like, why are you just engineering and why aren't you in an executive leadership position? I said, well, based on like the current military structure, I belong in a certain place, but I want to be able to kind of excel at that. So there's a societal expectation for people, for academics to really stand out and do something besides engineering. If anybody has a different story or has any counter arguments to that, I would love to talk to you about that. But that's just my experience that I've seen and the conversations that I've had. My personality, I'm a very chatty person. Like, I think I lost my voice from talking too much. Not the allergies. But I really like individuals. I really like talking to y'all, and I love the community. Advocacy. I want to be an advocate for platform engineers. I want to allow them to get the resourcing that they need, the things that they need to thrive, right, and to be better engineers. And then to help build a community of practice. Of course, here we all do it, but in certain organizations, the engineering team gets stuck in a certain room and they just get forgotten about. So I wanted to make sure that I was that voice for the engineering team, because I was that engineer, and I saw that we just kind of sat in a we have this room called the Chamber of Secrets. That's just out in the hallway, and nobody really knows what's going on. Kind of like the networking in the closet type of thing. All right, and of course the mandatory Ghibli rendition of myself right there. So things I brought with me. Of course, first, engineering knowledge, right? I didn't go into PMing and not know anything about engineer. There's a lot of PMs that are out there that they just say, well, the engineers know what they're doing. I'm just here to remove roadblocks. I'm here to just kind of get them what they need, but they don't truly understand what's going on inside of the clusters, inside of the microservice architecture and things like that. So I brought that knowledge with me. So it's funny because every time that an engineer tries to BS with me and say, oh, we can't do that, I look at them and say, yes, you can. I've done it before. So my passion for coding, right? Like, the passion is always there. Whether you're doing tech, whether you're going to finance, like, that passion for the code will always live with you. And then my friends, fortunately, I was able to stay on the same team. So I was able to just serve in a different role of the organization, but still producing the same outcomes for the same users. So it's really cool just being able to kind of pivot into a different part of the business. And of course, my Kubernetes clusters, I bring those with me everywhere. Excuse me. So engineer to advocate. Now, advocacy is a beautiful thing. Any developer advocates here? All right, one. All right. I think it's really awesome. The advocacy for it, it's being able to like stand out for the voice. And I tell people about it, and they say, "What, like developer advocates? What are they engineers? Are they managers?" It's kind of like that sweet spot in between to really kind of help the voice of the developers and the platform engineers to get out there and get what they need. I want to become a voice for the platform engineer in leadership conversations. Of course, like we all do, trying to break down organizational barriers and silos. Of course, that's what DevOps is all about, right? And in resourcing power, I was able to have a seat at the table to have those decisions, to say, we do need this, and this is the reason why. And they kind of listen to me sometimes now, right? Unfortunately, I'm the same person, but just with a different title, and it makes a difference. And it's just a harsh truth. So holistic thinking, this part just kind of like some of the lessons learned. Aligning engineering outcomes with organizational impact. Sometimes the things we do have a bigger impact in the organization, and I'm able to now to kind of see that from a different perspective, and it's been really awesome. Really started adopting user-centered mindset for platform design. So when we're developing things in the platform, I'm able to stand back and say, how does this really affect the user? Like, what is the real impact, and are we really helping the user with their pain point? Because it's not just about building cool things, it's about building the right things and doing it right. Recognize that there's a lot of small technical choices that have wide-ranging effects. So every small choice that you make, it can be a security switch, a lever that you hit, and it can impact other things, right? There's ATOs, there's other documentation that happens in the background, and it's important for everybody to understand that sometimes it's not just about fixing the thing for you to do your job, but the effects that it has outside of the platform. It's no longer about building the cool stuff. Trust me, sometimes I look at the engineers and I say, I want to build that, and I'm excited that you're excited, but we can't do that. Like, that just does not make any sense, right? So I have to sometimes be the devil's advocate and say, just hold on. Like, let's talk about this. I don't want to kill your dreams, but what you're doing is not really gonna like play out well in the conversation. And then also learn some Figma prototyping. Anybody good with like Figma stuff? Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you can like build the app, take some screenshots, and then click around. And it looks like the app, but it's not the app. And it's really cheap. It's really easy to make prototypes and put it in front of users. So I really kind of like that UI UX perspective. We have individuals for that, but I was able to kind of collaborate with them to ensure that we're creating the right impact. Imposter syndrome. Raise your hand if you got it. All right. Everybody has it. Well, I'm gonna hit you with the new one, imposter syndrome reset. All right. Just when you think you're getting good at something, you decide to switch. That's what I did. So I was like, I was being told, hey, you're a great engineer, you're doing great things. And then I decided to make a switch to something that I completely don't know anything about. I said, okay, I'm back to square one on purpose. So that kind of personal choice, right? I fell behind a little bit behind on the learning curve with my peers. A lot of the individuals that had already been doing it for a while. Now I'm the new guy in town, and I'm having to ask them for help when before they were the ones coming to me for engineering help. Now I'm having to ask them for people skills help. Don't worry though, I can still build a mean infrastructure, right? Like throw some Terraform, we'll get some Vim going on, and we'll make it happen. But yeah, the imposter syndrome reset was really, it was hard for me. And sometimes I would show up and I get asked, like, why did you switch over? Like, you're good at this. I say, yeah, but I want to do something else. I want to hone in on other skills that can make me grow as an individual. It's not just about being good at what you are now, but really looking at the future and potential. Like when you buy stocks, right? Market diversification, you want to buy different stocks so that way you have a little bit of a better chance of succeeding. So that was my choice. But now I have 2 skills. That's good. Right? I will always say never stop engineering. Right? Don't be afraid to jump to other tracks. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and let people know, hey, I'm comfortable where I am, but I'm also comfortable being uncomfortable. Right? And that's really important for all of us to understand. And I love seeing that here because every time somebody does a talk, right, everybody, and the Ignite talks are really awesome for people to kind of get out there and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I always promote for that and kind of advocate for individuals to try something different. It wasn't about a pivot. My transition from it wasn't like pivoting and now I'm doing this. It was growth as an individual, right? Learning more skills to really have that holistic view of what's going on. And then I just added that from Sasha's keynote, growth mindset and psychological safety. I think if your organization doesn't give you the psychological safety to do things and gives you that net, like you could fail. So it's obviously different depending on the context that you're operating in. In an organization, you could say, I want to do something, and if you fail and you get fired, then you're less likely to do that. So, but if you do have an organization or a location where it allows you to do that, I say go for it. I say explore, check it out. Worst case, you can always just like revert back, right? That is all. Thank you very much. Q&A.